Greetings, person of great wealth and potential. My name is Athena Gardner, the founder of Wewealth Women, and this is Wewealth Women. Wewealth Women is a wealth learning community for women where we focus on helping women to create their own wealth legacy and own their own wealth narrative. And I'm so excited for you to join us today, wherever you're watching or listening to this. Now, in today's topic is an interesting one, and it's actually an experiment that I just had this idea that just came right into my mind. I was like, you know what? I want to see what topics are going to come up. So, some of you may know that I am very much into AI, artificial intelligence, tech. I've done actually workshops and speeches on this topic and one coming soon for our learning community. But I wanted to see what ChatGPT would have to say about why women have less wealth. I wanted to see what the capabilities of machine learning will do for us, okay? So that is what we're going to go into today, the topics of what ChatGPT or the reasoning that it provided as why women have less wealth. If you are new here, though, darling, what are you waiting for? Feel free to follow us on all social media available to you, okay? At We Wealth Women. And also join our learning community where it's free to join. And we also have our own membership and login and app. Now, available on the app and Google store. Okay. So let's just get that out the way, honey. Let's just get that out the way. Also, before we go even deeper dive, if you want these tips, insights, what we're doing as a community, make sure to go and sign up for the wealth notes at go.wewealthwomen.com. Now, we have gotten all that out of the way. Let's dive into these questions, honey, because I want to see what ChatGPT has to say about why women have less wealth. Now, the first thing that ChatGPT discussed was the wealth gap. And that was the first reason why women have less wealth is that there is this wealth gap that has been created through time, through um, a lot of societal things that we had to face as women in a lot of different culture and community aspects. And I think the rest of the suggestions that ChatGPT discussed is basically going to explain why this wealth gap exists between women and men. Um, there are a lot of discussions around it and research behind it. Some of it is that we choose careers or have careers that tend to pay less than men. Some of it has to do with us not negotiating, us not really negotiating our worth, not honing in on our career in a way to emphasize our own wealth. And I'm actually doing a upcoming workshop on how and what we need to focus on as women to create the wealth that we more than deserve. If you're interested in signing up for that New Year New Wealth workshop, go to workshop.wewealthwomen.com. But there's a lot of between salary negotiations, career choices that we choose, um, us living longer, higher medical costs. There's just a lot that goes into creating that wealth gap, right? And that was one of the reasons. So I was like, okay, ChatGPT really coming through with some good information. So back to another thing that it suggested was income disparities in career. Now I basically just discussed that. I basically just discussed the income disparities, but back to what I said, that over time, these choices that in a lot of ways us women have to make really affect our income, which affect our long-term wealth outcomes. I feel like a lot of us don't really fully understand the financial impact of some of the decisions. Now, some of the decisions are, I'm not gonna say fair, but or unfair is just the nature of reality, especially when it comes to children and family. Biological factors also contribute to that as well, which affect our income and career. And I can do a whole deep dive on this. Leave a comment or send an email if that is something that you think would be of value to do for our community. But it kind of forces you as a woman to really think through in some of the situations like, okay, if I make this decision, I'm gonna take a little bit of a financial hit, but in the overall scheme and plan for my life, like, for example, marriage or having children or adding to my happiness, you know, I want to make this decision. So I find that, and comment down below or send a comment or leave a message if this resonates with you. There's this tug of war that happens because you're balancing out these decisions that put you kind of like a rock and a hard place. Like, okay, do I do this for my happiness? Do I do this for my financial security? You know, those kind of things. You're in these the quandaries, these dilemmas where you're going to have to make these decisions, and it can be exhausting. It can be exhausting. One, it can be exhausting, but the other aspect of it is as well is, you know, you almost feel like why you almost feel like you can't win, like you're forced to make these decisions. But another response, ChatGPT came through, and I was like, "Come through, ChatGPT," as why women have less wealth than men is unpaid labor. Unpaid labor, okay? Unpaid labor. And I said, "Look at that. Look at ChatGPT getting to the white meat with the unpaid labor." And unpaid labor comes in a variety of forms, comes in a variety of ways. So, from unpaid labor, some of the factors that it was discussing was when women have to take breaks from their career. And the situations that often arise when women have to take breaks from the career is when child rearing, whether it's to have the baby, whether it's to raise the baby and not go back on somebody's job, right? That's one form of unpaid labor. The other form of unpaid labor is also like doing domesticated duties like cooking, cleaning, all of these things, right? So unpaid labor, I saw a statistic and I actually wrote it down. I need to cite the source, but the statistic is the career breaks that women make to raise children or to do what I call care work, like taking care of a grandparent, taking care of a spouse, taking care of someone that's ill, right? There are moments and times in life where a woman may step aside from her career to do these things. Over time, the impact of that could be up to $1 million, right? Up to $1 million. So that is part of that. Even women who choose to work and with the childcare crisis now, especially here in America, You're having to make decisions whether or not you pay for daycare and childcare or work because the cost of childcare per child is it might be more equal or more than what you make take home, right? What you take home, and then if a woman decides to take a break from that to raise children or take care of people, she's not even if she was netting 0 or was a wash between those 2 things, guess what? She's not contributing to a 401k plan. She is not, getting insurance options. There's long-term things that she's foregoing for the sake of the family, for the sake of the family. And then if so there's financial implications on wealth, whether or not she's married or not, with making these decisions. So when it comes to or even with that, you wanna save money or do whatever, you can't afford it, whatever the situation is, the unpaid labor of cooking, cleaning, and all of that, that is really a service to the household, um, it also takes time. That's time that could be used in some sense creating a business, working on a business, working on other sources of income, working on different wealth creation strategies. You don't that takes away from your time to be able to do that, which also causes financial impact in resulting in less wealth. So unpaid labor is a big thing that has huge implication and impact on a woman's wealth. So ChatGPT, I was when I was going down the list, I said ChatGPT is it's on point. It's on point on this subject matter so far. So far. Now, the next response or reason when I asked ChatGPT, why do women have less health? Less wealth, sorry, less wealth. And it said systemic and cultural factors. Systemic and cultural factors. So, depending on what your culture is as a woman, there might be different expectations of when it comes to work, what kind of jobs you can even get, what kind of access to capital you can even get, even if you wanted to do your business, right? Even if that was something that you wanted to do, depending on where you are in the world, that's going to significantly impact your ability to even do that, or even within certain societal structures. Like a lot of people don't know or forget the fact in a lot of countries, women could even get a bank account on their own. They had to get it through a man somehow, whether it was their father, whether it was his husband, and in some places that still do exist. So that access to capital, access to resources, the ease of doing that, depending on your culture, is going to impact that. And then furthermore, in some cultures, and this is not a judgment, this is not a right or wrong, and I want to be clear about that in making this video. I'm not saying anything is right or wrong. We live in a world, there are multitudes of cultures, people, situations. There's going to be diversity with everything. So this is not a right or wrong thing. This is just more so an exploration of the factors or that contribute to why women may have less wealth. Culturally, a woman may not be encouraged to work. Culturally, a woman may be encouraged just to be at home and do those things, which is fine for if that works for that woman and that culture and that society and that setup. However, it does put a lot of pressure for that their community, their society, and for their partner to financially support that structure. And if that is not in place, then it kind of collapses and causes issues. And it also leaves women vulnerable because now your financial support, your survival, your resources is heavily relied upon and dependent upon your society, country, community, partner, family to support you. And should anything happen that disrupts that support, you are left financially vulnerable. But this is also the systemic and cultural factors are also what contributes to why women may have less wealth. So, last but not least, ChatGPT said investment and financial literacy. And based off of personal experience through work, um, I'm a CPA, and conversations and experiences with clients and women, I kind of agree with this because this is just a layered factor. So I do think there's a mindset in a lot of women that investment or investing as a thing to do may be too difficult, maybe. And investing to me also is not saving because I find that women will save. You know, a lot of women will put something aside. A lot of women will save some money. But to now take this money and invest in other forms of investment, whether it's stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, um, in a business, that is where I find we do less of. There's this fear or that and I find that it's the fear that keeps us from trying. It's a fear, it's the feeling of it may be overwhelming for us to do. It's the feeling of we might not know what to do, or it's the thinking that, my family will help me with this, my partner will help me with this. And I find a lot of the time there have been lots of instances where that did not happen. Their partner weren't as financially astute as the woman was hoping for. And because of the lack of knowledge around that, it ended up being a situation where both people now are in these financial dilemmas. But and to be honest with you, the feeling that a lot of women have around whether or not it's too hard, it's too overwhelming, it's gonna be too much for me to do, or I don't even know where to start, was the inspiration behind We Wealth Women and why I created We Wealth Women. I wanted women to know that they are more than capable of creating their own wealth legacy, owning their own wealth narrative, and really understanding the tools and resources. Feel free to go to wewealthwomen.com. We also have our own online community and app available at the app and Apple App Store and Google Play Store. But you can always head over to wewealthwomen.com. We have our newsletter, the Wealth Notes. We have our blog there. We have our membership there for women who are ready to take it to the next level and own their own wealth narrative and understand how to create your own wealth streams, all of those things. But yes, back to the topic of investing and financial literacy. That is definitely some of the thinking. It's almost like behind closed door type of conversation, like women have privately come to me and express. And it's not even necessarily that they don't even have any money. It's not even that they don't even have any money. It's the fear around what to do. And it's thinking that they can't do it somehow. And that is just not the case. Because especially with, I don't know, the society I live in and what I see happening in our world. I find that women are encouraged and know how to spend money, but very little is taught or said about how to maintain, keep, grow money. And we need more nurturing in our mindset and how to create habits that support the wealth that we deserve. Because I believe every woman should be abundant and every woman should have the resources that she needs, and how to go about to be able to swipe your card and not worry and have any financial guilt and know that you have a solid foundation no matter what, because you are doing the things for yourself, is really the whole goal with We Wealth Women. So it was interesting that ChatGPT pulled that up as an option, right? And not to say women are the only ones with these struggles. Men do too. Men have these struggles as well. I'm the only girl with male siblings, and I navigate male spaces. I've been a CPA. A lot of the in accounting and finance, a lot of colleagues are men, especially the higher up you go. So I get to see a lot of behind the scenes situations of men, and I'm like, yeah, man, I got it all figured out either. So, that's why I say it's so important. It is so important for you to empower yourself by getting the knowledge, by getting the tools, by getting the resources, to have a strategy, to have a plan, because I find that in the plan, it provides you with just this feeling of groundedness and security, because you know where you're going. And oftentimes you can be feeling the wind because you feel like you're not making any headway, or you're not, you just don't know. But if you were able to get strategies, create a plan, and then have goals for yourself around your own wealth, I find that to be supportive, and the support that most women are really looking for when it comes to having peace and wealth, to really having that peace and wealth. And that is what I also will be discussing in my upcoming workshop, New Year, New Wealth workshop. So if you're a woman interested in that, please be sure to sign up for that at workshop.wewealthwomen.com. But in closing, I think I think ChatGPT did a good job. Comment if you feel like they did a good job, but they really explained why the wealth gap greatly, why women have less wealth, between the income disparities, the unpaid labor, the cultural aspects of things, and our mindset around investing. All these factors greatly contribute to why we have less wealth. So good job, ChatGPT. Now, if you are a woman who wants to create your own wealth legacy, who wants to own your own wealth narrative, who wants to not feel financial guilt and stress, or feel like it's overwhelming to even embark on that, and you want the resources and the tools that are going to help you with that, head on over to wewealthwomen.com. I have blogs, I have the wealth notes are there, workshops are there, everything is there available for you to really create the abundance that you deserve, so you can live the life on your terms. When you have your wealth, your money set up, you can take the trips that you want. You can have the lifestyle and the security and the peace that you want. You don't have to wait on anybody to start doing that. So head on over there to do that as well. But all right, hopefully you guys like this video. Any suggestions, leave down in the description. Please be sure to like and subscribe to whether you are viewing or listening to this. And be sure to follow us on social media at We Wealth Women. on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And I don't want you guys to miss a thing. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next